How are you guys doing? Today, what I like to do is just do a quick little drawing of Bouguereau here. I just want to kind of um, show you how I start. And one of the biggest challenges that I find is that people just have a hard time blocking in tone. Okay, so it's gonna be I don't know how long I'm gonna work on this. Maybe we'll work on it for half an hour. Maybe I'll work on it for 45 minutes. I'm not quite sure. But alls I'm using is this paper. Okay, so this is Strathmore drawing paper. It's really simple, nothing complicated. Yeah, it's 400 series. If I can, there we go. Yeah, 400 series. You can buy this paper at any art supply store. Hey, Arjun, how are you doing? Um, so I'm going. I've been doing Zoom for a few weeks, and I don't like the um, playback quality. The recorded quality is just absolutely horrendous. And I watched a recorded version of a YouTube live stream, and it's 1,000 times better. So let me get started. Okay. So I'm just gonna go old school. Real simple today. Just color erase. So I'm working in a very, very, very tiny area. Okay. So my live area is 5 inches. Okay. It's really small. And my live area is really 7 inches because if I draw down to 8 inches, my head's going to be in the camera and you wouldn't want that. So where would I start this? Okay. So what usually people do when they start this thing is just kind of want it to be perfect, and there's no such thing as perfection. So I just want to hint at a little kind of target right over there just to kind of see, okay, that is going to be kind of the top left of his hair before it kind of flicks. Okay, so I just want to gesture down. Okay, just trying to get the side of his head. And then I want to be very mindful of where I am with the paper. Okay, so I'm looking at my reference a lot in the beginning stages, top angle of his head. So there's a little bit of the part of his hair. Okay, so just placing, okay, just placing in the first minute. Now I want to be mindful of my left to right. Okay, so let's angle down, lean back when you first start. Okay, let's cruise on down. I'm going to go look at the tilt and get his big bushy mustache. Okay, and let's see here. So that is a little long. So the key here in the beginning, of course, I'm a little stiff because I want to do a very good job for you guys. I just kind of did a quick sketch of him right before I started the video, and just to kind of warm up a little bit. And that's how you want to start. Okay, so that was literally less than 2 minutes, just a quick block in. So now that I'm on YouTube and I'm trying to do a good job for you guys, of course I'm drawing stiff. So what you want to do is don't worry about being perfect. Okay, so just have fun with it. I like to always draw, and I'm telling myself that. Please trust me, I'm telling myself that. Um, Lean back, look at it from far away. Look at how I'm like looking back and forth. Okay, so let's keep my head out of the camera. Come on down with his neck into his beard. Okay, little kind of pointy beard at the bottom. And right now I'm doing a visual measurement. I'm saying, hey, what is right up above from his beard? Okay, so right now, don't worry about being perfect with your measurements. Just get more pencil down on the paper. Okay, so I want to get this hair out a little bit more. He has some really cool, he's a cool older man. There's no doubt. Um, he's got a look to him. He's got a pretty good head of hair. Okay, so that could be my block-in. So what I say to my students, especially people who really want to get better at drawing portraits, is totally do the sizing up of the person's head. Okay, just like you size up, the figure that you're drawing. If you're in a figure drawing class, as a model have long legs, a long torso, short legs, big head. I know that sounds like really silly, but it's important. So what I see on my piece of paper right now, if I'm sizing up Bouguereau, is he's too skinny. okay, on my drawing. So I need to make him wider. So I'm going to just be very loose. Okay. Hopefully you guys can't hear my Led Zeppelin in my ear right now. I love drawing to music, and I always play music, even in the classroom. I play music. So right now I'm listening on YouTube, believe it or not, to a live concert of Led Zeppelin in 1969 in Denmark. Um, it's pretty raw, and you watch the people in the hey, David, you watch the people in the video, all these young kids, and they kind of don't even know what's happening. I don't think they've ever heard music like that. So I'm just starting my very best to. There's no outline with his hair. His hair is so very soft. So I'm just kind of getting where his hair touches his face, specifically up top over here on his forehead. Now, really important. I'm gonna do my very best to. You see, these are that's a mistake line. That could be the right line. I haven't decided yet. Don't worry about those mistake lines. I'm not even going to deal with my eraser. I am just going to start to block in the tone and look at where the bridge of the nose is in comparison. So I'm looking at the bridge of his nose right here, all the way to that side, and the bridge of the nose all the way over here. It actually could even be more to the right, because that little side eye socket there. So those lines I'm going to have to erase. Okay, so let's do the nose into the mustache. Okay, now I'm going to erase. Okay, so I'm not pressing down hard at all. So I'm going to try this kneaded eraser. And just give me a, hey, Lynn, just give me like a heads up if my hair keeps going into the drawing. I'm trying my best. Like, I'm trying to be like relaxed and lean back, um, which is hard to do when you want to do a good job. I want to like get up close, and then you see my wonderful bald spot. Getting older sucks. Okay, so I digress. I digress. Let me just concentrate. And under the nose. So this is telling me I'm looking at the distance where his darkness of his upper lip is. So that's telling me, wow, I got to go longer with this beard, and I need to go wider. Okay, so I'm going to go wider over here and longer. So lean back. And, how long have we been drawing? I don't know. Let me just look here. 7 minutes. I've been gibbering and talking. Okay, cool. And thank you, Arjun. So within the first 5 minutes or so, this is what you really want to have. Now, I'm a big believer in not leaving just a floating head. So I want to suggest, so bottom of the nose, where is the top of his coat in relationship to the bottom of his nose? It's a little bit lower. So I always want to put that in. And then this is just going to be like a lost edge over here. So now this is where, for me, the magic starts to happen in terms of me seeing things. So, and this is what I want most people to do. Let me get rid of that little line there, because that's going to get in the way. I'm just going to erase that out. The mustache I'm not so concerned about. So if you have issues with doing this light touch, just kind of practice it on the side. So this is just called blocking in the shadow shape. So this is going to be, this painting is extremely soft. Soft equals realism. And I want to be very soft with this. And we can develop our edges as we go. Like I said, I have no idea where this drawing is going to take me today. But what this is a ghost-like impression of Bouguereau. And if I can get the proportions at the same time that I do the ghost-like impression, better yet. So I'm just looking at his eye socket area. You got to be careful with that edge. I don't want to press down too hard. Let's just establish. I'm just looking at the bottom of his nose to his forehead. So at this early stage in the game, he's got a pretty long nose. I got to be careful. I don't want to go too dark with that. As I almost choke on my own saliva. Isn't that wonderful? Okay. Yeah, okay. I've been in this office way too much lately between coaching calls, live classes at the college. Um, yeah, it's I've just been in this room way too much lately. So you see what I'm doing there? I'm not worried about a perfect outline just yet, and I'm just now want to look at the edge of his eyebrow to the edge of his hair, and just trying to very soft. His eye. I'm not going to outline the atypical almond shape of the lash. Right now, I just want to kind of put in a ghost-like impression of his eye socket. Okay, let's see, where are we? Okay, let's kind of kick out a little bit over here. Now, the other thing I can start to think about is which eye is higher than the other, but I'm not even worried about the eyes just yet in terms of drawing them, but I do want to be aware of which eye is higher than the other eye so I can get the tilt of the head. Okay, so let's just get a little bit of the character of his nose. And let's look at the tip of his nose. How close is it to the edge of his face? I'm still being very soft. I'm still working with the same pencil. I haven't changed pencils just yet. And I'm going to just keep going down. I'm doing more, I'm drawing more like a painter today. Okay, I'm not drawing with my line drawing that I would be doing if this was a figure drawing. Just drawing more like a painter. So it's more tone next to tone. And this is, you could do this digitally with Procreate. You can do this in Photoshop. Uh, Now, this style is not for everybody. And if you look at my Instagram, you see that most of my drawings are like line drawings of the figure. And I love doing line. But the reason why I wanted to do this for you here today is because the number one, in my opinion, the number one thing that people struggle with is shapes of value. Um, and that's what I'm trying to show you, how easy it is just to kind of map it out early on. Let's do this very light value of his hair. I can do the hair. It's so soft, it's out of control. So Bouguereau's paintings, most of the details on the edge of things, and then he does like this super soft tone. So looking at the distance between the edge of the eyebrow over here, which I made too dark, but it's all good. Just kind of, you make a mistake, you just want to keep going because I'm barely pressing down hard, and we can erase all that out. So let me just suggest with a soft. See how if I made a mistake there, it's really no big deal. I can erase all that out. Let's see. Okay, ghost-like impression. I want to go darker. Okay, now I'm going to resharpen because it gets to be a certain point with that pencil where it gets too kind of soft. All right, so let's see here. I'm still clinging on to this edge a lot. Hey, Joseph. Hey, Arjun, Bats, Lynn, David, Joyce, Arjun, Richard, Feezer, Lambda School. Okay, so leaning back. Let's work on the other side of his head here. I'm trying to avoid working on it because when I do this, I block the drawing from your visual there. Okay, so let's angle, angles, angles. That needs to be lower. Angle over here. So I'm just now working a little bit on solidifying the edge. Hi, Aurora. Okay, let's blend this. Where is his shoulder, his shirt? Kind of feather off. And let's cast shadow. Suggest the collar. Where is that center line of the collar? I'm being really super duper sketchy. This is very round. Okay, so that just made him a little longer. So let me, I really got to work this side. So I apologize if my hand blocks. So look at my head bobbing up and down. I got it. No problem, Richard. Thank you. So 50% of your time needs to be looking. Don't look down, like, don't draw like this for like 5 minutes straight where you're looking down at the drawing and you're trying to draw. Your head needs to be like on a swivel where it's up and down, or a bobblehead doll. You need to be a bobblehead doll. And look and compare. Now, I'm going to put in some tone over here. And I apologize if I'm blocking the drawing. I don't know how else to do this. Okay. Yeah, this tone that I'm putting here, I'm scribbling it. Now, your background tone, you don't want your drawing to be about the background tone. So I can blend all of this, but this is my reverse gradation. Okay, I need to do that. So I need to see, that's going to help me with his hair. All right. Really soft and sketchy. So where are we? We are at 16 minutes. Okay. So at 16 minutes, I would really advise that like you get up and you look at your drawing from far away, like kind of stand up a little bit. And sometimes we can get tunnel vision. So I see that that eye is a little too droopy for me. I need to establish his ear a little bit. Just kind of pull out. Now, let's see, where am I going to go next? Let's go to this forehead. I'm just clinging onto the edge. I love working on the edges of things because I'm basically looking at the negative space right now, and that is helping me a lot. So this, yeah, I could do an exact replica of it in terms of the values, or I can do a reverse gradation. That's very, very different. This is the underplane of that mustache. Now, the decision that I really need to make right now is, am I going to use a brush to blend? I don't know. Or am I going to just keep it fresh like this? Suggest the nostril. Do not go super dark with the nostrils. That's a no-no. We need to make this a little wider, a little lighter. Okay, I'm going to resharpen. You want me to share it? Well, let's see. I'll share with you in a little bit when they're playing. This is a huge. So hair equals character of the person. So I really need to kind of get this edge because this is his character. Super soft. And this is a tone. So I'm doing my very best not to block the drawing too much. These little curly things, he's probably had them his whole life. Draw the hair stroke the way it lies on his head to get the feeling of his hair. Okay, and ask yourself the question, where is the lightest light? So the lightest light is on his forehead. Okay, so this part of his hair is not the lightest light, but it's certainly not dark because it's old gray hair, which I kind of have over here. But his is classic French hairdo over here. He's a styling dude. Okay, so now I'm going to do a little bit more over here. So his beard. So just match the value. Start off light first. Just suggest, go to the mustache area. And this is the gray part of his beard. So where is the bottom of his ear in relationship to the bottom of his nose? So it's a little bit lower. And then look at distances. So I'm measuring from here to here. I don't think I got that right. It needs to come over a little bit. Or do I need to kick this out? This is very important. So this is going to help with the likeness, this width thing. So I'm lean back, look at it from far away. So his eye is too low and it's too big. So I'm going to move it over here. And now I'm going to suggest his other eye. So squint, his eyes are kind of even, or I should say level. So his eye is not a circle, it's a rectangle. Hi, Anna. Thank you, Anna. His eye is just a simple rectangle. It's not a circle. And again, I'm drawing like a painter this morning. Thank you, Anna. I appreciate that. So I have two different ways that I draw. One is a line and one is a tone. So tone is just like drawing like a painter. And so that's this morning. So let me just, sometimes it's good to just establish the eye for confidence. Lean back. I have the eye too low, so I have the eyes crooked, right? So my eyes are tilted that way. His eyes are tilted that a ways. So I need to fix that. So sometimes you just kind of have to go for it. And this, I'm looking his forehead's too tall. So this needs to come up. Okay, I'll share with you what I'm watching. Jimmy Page. This is the best. He's just in the middle of this song that is phenomenally great. Love drawing the music. So you see, now I'm going to raise his eyebrow, but be careful with eyebrows that they are emotions. So I don't want his eyes to look too worried, but I really need to lift up the eye. Lean back, look at it from far away. And I was talking with Craig, who is a coaching student, yesterday, and he was wondering why his drawings look cartoony. And there's two reasons on a portrait specific. If you're doing portraits and your portraits look too cartoony, it's one of two reasons. The eyes are too big. Okay. Hey, Santosh, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. The eyes are too big and the edges are too simplistic. Okay. So big eyes equals cartoony. So I'm not doing the almond-shaped lashes. I'm just suggesting angles. It's still too low, but I'm going to just block in a little bit more tone. Let's raise it. It's amazing those first strokes that you do, sometimes how wrong they are. So that's why it is important not to press down so hard in the beginning stages of the portrait drawing. Raise that. Man, I wish I had this guy as my teacher. That would have been phenomenal. So I'm just going to put some little details there in the forehead. This is very painterly right now. And now I think I got to raise this eye. Forever the septic. That's cool. Okay. Let's. Don't like that eye. It's too low. It's got to be higher. So now, you see what I did unintentionally? I made him worried. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to switch things up a little bit. I shouldn't use this because it does leave like a little residue. Yeah, you're right, Arjun. He is. He is. This mono zero, once you kind of get cruising along, like it's a good one to use, but it does leave residue on the paper. So the kneaded eraser at this stage of the game is a better one. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so I'm getting a little silly with this eye. It's in the shadow. I'm going to block in and make it softer. Okay, I don't want to be looking down at my drawing for too long. I need to be looking at the photo reference. Okay, so let's just hint. So now let's commit a little bit more. Let's commit to the underplane of where the nose touches the face. Let's commit to the nostril. Let's put a little bit more tone here. This is where the edge is getting lost. So on every portrait that you do, you need to lose edges in the shadow. So I don't have a background tone over there. So I'm actually doing the opposite. So that would change the look and feel. Hi, Mary. Okay, so let's harder edge to make the nose come in front of the portrait. So I'm pressing down, I'm committing a little bit right now. So if it's wrong, it's wrong. I'm going to have to deal with that. And sometimes this pencil does not come off of the paper. And that's what being an artist is all about. This rolls around. Underplane. No, it is not snowing, but man, is it raw outside. Um, I have a pool. I'm fortunate enough to have a pool in my backyard, and we usually open it like in May. And we opened it early this year because of the pool company said that if they didn't do it now, they weren't going to be able to open it. And then if you keep the pool covered into the warm months of May and June, gets a little soupy to say the least. So we uncovered it, and we've had these windstorms and rain, and I'm putting my like hand in. It's like the water is like ice water. It's insane. Proper, nice. So it is raw here. Yesterday was absolutely freezing. Um, so it's not nice, but I'm so happy to say it is not snowing. Now, yesterday we lost our electricity because we've been getting the worst windstorms and all that. So it's been really weird between this. I don't want to say the thing that is happening in the world right now because you're watching this to escape from that thing that is happening in the world right now. So I don't even want to talk about it. But yeah, between that and being cooped up and the weather isn't really helping. But we had Missy Debbie, who has been a long-term member of my website, on a live stream this week, and she lives out west, and it was snowing, and I couldn't believe. I think I would kind of go hide under the covers if it started snowing right now. 70s in Cali, huh? That sounds pretty good. Just the way that you said the word Cali. A lot of my favorite bands are from California. Okay, so how we doing? Where am I going wrong here? I still have the eye tilt wrong. Son of a gun. Okay. So I'm looking, I'm looking, I'm looking. Let's be a little bit more powerful with this fold of skin over his, and I'm just looking at the shadow shape here. I need to be more powerful with it. Yeah, Eve, totally. It is raw outside, and the windstorms this week were nuts. Yeah, you got it, Aurora. This is something new for me. Usually, doing these videos, I've been doing videos like this since 2006, and it's 2020. So sometimes it gets a little bit of, oh God, I got to talk about the surface planes again. And it's just human nature when you do something over and over and over again. Um, there's this thing called too much certainty. So you need variety in your life. So I actually really enjoy doing the live streams because I've never done the live streams, and it's given me variety in my life instead of doing the same thing. So I've been filming tutorials the same way since 2006, with an SD card in my camera and just filming and then doing the voiceovers, and it's human nature. It doesn't matter what your job is. If you're a rock star or a supermodel, or an electrician or a plumber, if you do the same thing every single day, it kind of wears on you. So the live stream is actually really exciting, and I really appreciate you guys joining me here. Okay, David, I really appreciate that. I'm just gonna. Oh, I'm gonna change the music. So one moment. I need to draw to music. So what am I going to listen to here? What am I going to listen to here? Okay, I'm going to listen to Santana at Woodstock. I'm addicted to that video right now. It's such a fun video. Like they're all playing together. It's Soul Sacrifice, I think it is, and they're playing the bongos and the drums, and he's doing the electric guitar, and they're all having like such a great time, and it gives you like good vibes when you watch it. I go through stages. Like I'll listen to Santana. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Aurora. It's just more social this way. Okay, so how are we doing? Can somebody tell me something that they don't like about what I'm doing here, or something that I could fix, something that's not right? Do you want to see me kind of plow in with the brush, or do you want me to leave it raw? Because I can use the brush to create softness. Yeah, Peter, I remember when I was an illustrator and I'd be working in my studio for 10 hours a day. Again, too much certainty of the same old, same old. I would put the speakerphone on and just talk to my friends. Northern Ireland, Sandy. I wish I was in Ireland right now and I can go to the pub and have a Jameson, which is my favorite drink, which during Corona I'm not drinking. Nose bump. Yeah, I should work on his nose a little bit more. So for me, I usually, quite frankly, um, I usually do the nose last, but I should do a little bit of it, just nose bump. Brush, please. Okay, yeah, I'll incorporate it. Let me just put a little bit more pencil down. Nose bump. Okay, so this is the hard edge. And just doing angles. So this is totally like old school. I'm using just the pencil that I always use. I'm really boring. I apologize for that. Prismacolor Colorase pencil. I Yeah, it's the only thing that I use. So I've got tons of them, and I've got like hundreds of them actually. Um, so it's the only pencil that I use. And is it the best pencil on the market? No, it's not. Um, Oh, I can't go to an Irish pub. Sandy, you're killing me. Um, okay, so I have two whiskeys here in my house. I have Jameson and I have Conor McGregor's proper 12, is it? Yeah, so I haven't been drinking them. The weather is beautiful. Okay. Yeah, I wish. One day I want to visit Ireland, even though I'm like all Italian kind of. No, I wouldn't paint this because it's on regular drawing paper. Uh, I have a coach and student, Craig, who keeps trying to entice me to start painting again. And I gotta admit, I'm thinking about it. I haven't painted in years. Okay, so let me branch out because I keep working in the same area because I don't want to block. Okay, so I'm gonna break out the brush here. Let me just put in some tone. Bushmills. I did, and that was not a good night, Sandy. That's what I'm going to say to you. I had Bushmills at a friend's dinner party he's Irish, and he's like, try this. And that was the end of that night. Okay, too much information, I guess. But yeah, it's fun. Okay, let's put a little bit more tone in here. I'm sorry if I'm blocking the drawing. Okay, yeah, this just needs tone. Okay, let's have some fun. I kind of I feel like I sound like Bob Ross when I do that. Now, I don't have Bob Ross's hair, but I remember, I'll tell you a quick little story here. When I was in my early 20s and I graduated from college, this might have also been when I was in college too. That was when Bob Ross was alive, and he would do these shows like every day at like 12:30. He would do a painting, and I'd go down and have lunch, and I'd watch him, and he would put me right to sleep. But he would always say, "All right, let's have some fun now," and then he would destroy it. So I have this Bristol brush. It's just really cheapo. It's Princeton art. It's a bright. I just call it a flat. It's like a quarter of an inch. This one's a little bit more aggressive. It's bigger. So let's go all Bob Ross here, and let's have some fun. So I want to soften this. So I'm not pressing down too hard because this blends really. So look at how that just knocked it down a value. Holy soft. So now I've entered a different realm, the realm of the painter. Now I'm going to do a lot. So with painting, there's this thing called pulling out the lights. See how, so this is just, what I'm doing is I'm pushing with this stiff Bristol brush the pencil into the texture of the paper. Just lose the edge over here, the beard into that. Um, and I'm barely pressing down hard. Now, if I press down hard and I mush the brush into the paper, it'll really kind of go dark. Is it cheating? Cheating is one of those words when you're an artist, that's it's up to the individual. I don't think it's cheating. It's just a technique. Um, so sometimes artists use certain techniques to speed their process because of deadlines, and time, because time is always of the essence. I don't think it's cheating. It's more like a technique. Yeah, no, there's no baby face here, Sandy. Absolutely not. I am definitely getting older and I'm feeling older by the day, but I appreciate your very, very kind words. Now, that's our big brush, and we could use this for little details. So I can take this brush and with the residual that I have on the brush, I can get a little bit more pencil on the brush. Um, I can start to do gradations. So just keep looking. Oh, there's no sarcasm here. It's all good. I'm pretty easygoing. So this would be akin to you putting paint down onto the canvas and then you starting to blend the paint. And this is really good too. If you are heavy-handed, you can draw with the brush. So you can see over here, there's that light value of his cheekbone. Um, and you could draw with the brush and get a much softer tone, especially, thank you, Mary, especially if you're heavy handed. Because some artists are heavy handed, which just basically means that you put too much pressure down on the pencil and you have a hard time getting like the soft light values that, like what I'm doing right over here. The brush will assist you in that. You just got to give the brush an opportunity to build up the pencil. So far, Bouguereau's painting is. Oh yeah, I can show you the blend and stump. Um, the blend and stump gives it a different vibe, and I do like this much better. The brush much better than the blend and stump. But you can also draw with the blend and stump. So I'm pushing down super duper hard right now on that beard. And I don't I just it has a different flavor to it when you use that blend and stump. Okay, so leaning back. Now comes the beautiful thing. Thank you, Michael. So his tilt of the eye. Okay, so there's this. Pull out. So this, if you're a painter, you would. I know there's teachers that teach a technique called pulling out the lights, and I'm just pulling out the lights. So again, this is almost like drawing like with charcoal, um, painting with paint. Let's see. Okay, so we're in this about 40 minutes. Does anybody have any questions in terms of like technical stuff with this? This is too dark. Okay, so let's lighten that. Yeah, the blend and stump, I never have been a big fan. It's funny because during this, I don't want to say the word, the situation that we're in because I just don't want to. I just every time I turn on the TV, that's all I hear. It's in commercials, it's everywhere. But since this whole situation started of staying at home, I cleaned my part of my basement and because that's what you do when you can't go out and it's raining and it's 40 degrees. Yeah, it's good, Arjun, that you've been doing that. I found a whole bunch of blend and stumps in my in my art supply area down in my basement, and I'm just like, yeah, I need to donate these. We need to use them for like starting fires or something. I'll save them for when it really gets bad. Okay, so I'm gonna be a little bit more aggressive. Soften that. Press down really hard. Gradate out. Okay, so now if you get some stuff on your drawing like cheap brush hairs, just brush it all off. And so this is where we start. Yeah, I have a lot to do on that nostril. It's just like kind of the blocking. So here's our start. It's just angles. Okay. So then it's just shape. So shapes of value. Let's see, where are we? Let me resharpen this. You know what I didn't take into consideration when doing a live stream is having to go to the bathroom. Okay, drinking too much water. So this is all new to me. Yeah. Sorry, too much information. Yeah. Okay. So let me just kind of sharpen a couple things. Thank you, Dana. I'm going to try to put this on the website. So let's just sharpen his lid lash combo platter. And let's kind of curve this up. His eye is so much smaller. I'm using a Prismacolor Colorase pencil. Black. They come in all different colors, but I like black the best. So I don't want to get too stuck here doing like the detail of that eye. You got to get the right value of the eye. Value of the eye means so much. If you make it too light, it's not going to represent the person. So the value of the eye is very important. So now the other thing that you have to understand, yeah, Eve, totally, is that there's no white of the eye. So his whites of the eye are in shadow because the eye is set back into. Yeah, I got to work on that nostril totally. I didn't even go there yet. Uh, okay, so yeah, a lot of people will leave the white of the eye white. Let me get my head out of there. A lot of people will leave the white of the eye white in the shadow, but there is no white of the eye. You got to just tone that down. So let's see, kneaded eraser. Whoa, I just keep changing the same thing. Okay, so let me do a little bit of the nose because I know a couple of you guys commented on that nose. Let me just zoom down with a little bit of this. So when you get to this stage of this type of drawing, you need to bounce around, and you could, yeah, totally, you could finish the eye, and you could resolve it. But I find sometimes it's a better situation for you all around if you work the entire drawing at one time. Yeah. Yeah, right? Okay. Yeah, a bathroom break screensaver. I love that. Well, now it would be, yeah, well, let me not go there, but that's very funny. Okay, so there's a little bag under his eye because he's a very cute old man. And we get bags under, he's European, so he's eating a lot of cheese. So cheese is going to make the bags under the eyes. No, well, lately, yes, I have been working big to small. I go through phases. So now that Argent, there's no absolutes. You know, today I am. Some days I don't. So right now the eye is the darkest dark in the piece, right? So I need to balance it out. So let's come over here and let me resolve the nose a little bit. So this curves. So I need to erase part of that out. Let me look. Okay, now this tilts in. So I'm going to try the Kohl eraser. Sometimes they don't work, but this has a nice edge on it. That's working for me. And let's get rid of that. Okay, so nostril. That angles down. I need to pull out some lights over there. Okay, just keep looking. Don't get caught up with looking too much at your paper. And I'm a big believer. I mean, Bouguereau is the master, so I'm just going to kind of copy what he did. But on my own personal drawings, I never really like to go too dark with the nostril. Uh, or one of the worst things is to go dark with a nostril and then make it have a sharp edge. That is like a super no-no. So now I'm going to take this. Let me use the kneaded eraser. So there's a little light on the inside here. Is a light on the side plane of the ball of the tip of the nose, and I'll come back into it. And then his nose is cast in a shadow down on an angle into the mustache. Very soft. Okay, this kind of loops up. And I can press down a little bit harder over here. So I'm just going to leave it. I don't really ever order art supplies online, just because I'm really fortunate that when I teach in the city, Aurora, there is an art supply store on the ground floor of the building that I teach in. So I just kind of go down at lunch and buy whatever I want, but now it's closed. So when you are drawing right now, you aren't putting a lot of pressure on your pencil, just letting the pencil do all. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm not pressing down hard because if I save pressing down hard for when I get more confidence with a section, I'll start to press down a little bit harder because you don't want to be too timid with it for too long. That's no good either. That eye's too big. Yeah, I'm really fortunate that they did shut down that art supply store. It was called Da Vinci. It just kind of went out of business, which totally sucks because I've been going there for many, many years. So I go to Blick on when I'm in the city, but I'm not in the city now. Okay, so there's something about those eyes that feel too close together. Yeah. So I'm going to chisel using the eraser. Okay, where's that pencil? Let me soften that. So also you can see that I'm making that eye disappear with the, that's another great thing about pressing down lightly. I'm all over the place here. Uh, Pressing down lightly. Yeah, the left eye, it is. So I'm kind of fussing with that right now. Oh, I see. Okay, so that needs to be really soft in the shadow over there. So this needs to go lower. Light pressure. Yeah, they're good. Those erasers, the mono zeros. Thank you, Dana, for introducing those to me. Oh, I see. That's an angle that way. Cool. Got it. Okay, let me do this. And let me brush that out. Okay, and let's see, where are we? And now I'm going to move from the eye area so I can get a different context to it all. Sometimes you can get stuck working in one area and you lose context of the whole thing. So now it's layering. Why does that keep going away? Okay. No, I can't hear anything right now. Okay, so let me just kind of dance around the piece. That's too dark, but I'm going to keep going. So I'm not quite sure how long I'm going to go with this. This needs to be lower. Pressing that hard. Now, this is the part that's going to take me a long time. Just let's do that earlobe. And let me suggest. So the reason why, I mean, this is such an important side to the drawing, and I'm not working on it because I keep blocking the whole thing. But I would be working a little bit more on this side because ears are very important. So that ear is right about close to the bottom of his eye. Okay, why is my one camera, I don't know why. Hopefully you guys can see the drawing. Keeps cutting out on me. Okay, so let me just go a little bit darker over here. What? So I started at 10. It's 10:55. So we're in it about 52 minutes because I was chatting a little bit in the beginning. And Arjun, so I would work on this for like 3 hours. Um, I have a coaching call at 1 o'clock. And yeah, so I don't know. And then I have this thing that I still haven't finished. So I need to work on this today. So this is the same pencil with the white charcoal, and I kind of want to finish this thing once and for all. I need to do like the sofa. I need to do a lot on it. So sometimes just you have a couple things like open, and you're not quite sure which one you want to work on. But uh, I'm having fun with this. But I might keep it loose. I don't know. This is really, really, really good practice. It does cut out briefly. Okay. I mean, we're all plugged in. I don't know if it's like a streaming thing. If it keeps cutting out, I'll just put the stream to bed. Okay, so I see that I see what's off. Okay, so I just lean back. I'm going to drop this. Yep. So it's never too late to make changes. So I'm dropping this, just adjusting. Yep, right here that needs to come down. And that would immediately raise his eye. Let me resharpen. Note to self, never drink too much water before a live stream. I would love it if some of you guys can email me or even let me know right here um, future things you would want me to draw. Okay. Uh, I really I don't do enough landscapes, and I love teaching landscape stuff. Landscapes just take a long time, but I would be really interested in what you guys have to say. Let's do this. This collar is very soft. Okay, love the white charcoal drawings. The contrast with them pop. Yeah, plus the camera is real kind when posting those drawings. Absolutely. Yeah, you got it, Arjun. I was looking at a ton of Bouguereau's glass. Okay, a glass on shading. Yes, I got you. Probably the 40 cups of coffee that I had too this morning as well. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little bit of the collar. So this is where you kind of want to fade the drawing off a little bit. Do I have like a ton of work to do on his face? You better believe it. There's so much that I really need to do. Yeah, Rembrandt drawing would be great. Landscape, a Rembrandt line drawing of landscape is an awesome option. Rembrandt drawing, yeah, I love that. I would be up for that. I almost was going to look for a Rembrandt before I looked for the Bouguereau, but my man Arjun is had that request, so I wanted to do something Bouguereau. Arjun, did you look up that actress from that movie Anna? Yeah, exactly, John. Because I would think that you would want to do a drawing of her. She's not a pop star, but she's pretty cool. So just feathering away. And to make, so I always preach. Let me do what I preach, put in a dark. Yes. She would be great to draw. I mean, she's like a chameleon. She looks different in every picture. Yeah, landscape, totally. Let me just play with an eraser here. That ear is too small. No, I just went on Google and I searched, and there were like 14 million different images. But each one is so, so very different. Sometimes what I like to do is flatten my eraser out and drag it. Oh God, I haven't done enough research to figure out which look. Uh, I'll do that this week. I'll see if I can. Um, okay, so let's pull out some lights. I could have put more. Let me do that. I'm going to put more pencil down because there's a lot of residual pencil on this brush, and I want to put it down. This is the front plane of his cheek, so I'm going to drag some of that, and that's going to make his mouth have that ball shape with the eraser. Now we can do a little pull out with the light. And his forehead is beyond light, so I'm going to put in, press down hard. I can do this with his hair as well. So I'm going to try my very best. I don't have enough pencil down on the paper, so it's not showing. He's definitely got cool hair. So I need more value in the background to really make the hair pop out. Over here, this is like a couple strands of hair. Sometimes you can do a circular stroke with that. So I need to do more with the pencil. And we can get a pointier eraser, and if I was going to work on this for like 3 or 4 hours, I would pull out all the individual strands of hair over there. We can pull out his collar. Clean up an edge there. And let me add a little bit more pencil. Not that pencil. Okay, so I can do like these kinds of surface plane lines by holding the pencil much further back like this. So I think I'm at a stage now where now I'd bring it into the next level. So now I'm going to start to do individual tonal shifts on the interior. So this is where knowing what you want out of your artwork is very important. It's do you enjoy doing the long stuff? So for me, I enjoy doing the long stuff. Because I just like being in my studio and listening to music and rendering and creating like a finished product. So I can do this like forever, but some people would get to this point and they're like, okay, I'm pretty much done. Um, so it's really up to the individual where you want to take your drawing from here. It's amazing what just like a couple of eraser strokes could accomplish. I think the part of the drawing that I've worked on the least is his ear. I'm struggling with Homertown College, Cambridge. It looks too new. I'm using Prismacolor. Yeah, yeah. The Prismacolor colored pencils, they're just they're really my favorite. Do you think there is a difference between left-handed and right-handed, left-handed people and right the results? I don't know. I I don't know about that. I've had a couple of left-handed students and they were like killer, and I was just amazed watching them work. So I could. That needs to be moved over. Oh God, now I see that. Let's move the ear over. I'm holding my pencil this way so I don't block the whole drawing. The ear needs to be moved over. Let's do that. I'm going to use this. So let's see. It's 11:06. You guys want me to work on this for like a few more minutes? Arjun, what do you think? How long do you want me to push this? Okay, cool. So I'll probably put this to bed in like a couple of short minutes because you guys have a life, and I don't think you want to watch me draw all day. But that is my block in with the tone. Okay, and there's a lot of things with this that need to be resolved, and I would just work on it for more time, and maybe I'll do that off camera. Let me just kind of be a little bit more aggressive with some things. Aurora, that's oh God, okay. Then I'd really need a Jameson Sandy. I'm just having fun with pencil texture with the beard. I mean, at this point, it would probably start to get like a little boring. I'm gonna work like 5 more minutes on it, um, so it would probably get like a little boring. I'm just still in the block-in stage of it all. Yeah, recorded is has its place, but yeah, I think live is more interesting. So what looks off? Can anyone tell me? Feather away. Okay, let me grab a different pencil. That one. Sometimes pencils act weird after a while. Um, I'm just putting down some landmark lines. Sometimes you just need that sharp edge. Thank you so much, Beth. I appreciate that. I have to remember to give information and not just chat. It's really important for me to give information while I'm drawing. Sometimes I have the tendency to ramble, but I think it's just trying to get like a combination of information and a little fun talk. couple flicks of the hair. This is so soft up top over there. More shading on the cheek. Yes, I agree. The ear needs some work. You better believe it does. It's that type of thing where I know it needs work. I'm just two things. My hand's going to go right on his face, and I'm going to smudge it. I could use my bridge, no doubt. Thank you, Sandy. Let's erase out the beard. I'm sorry, mustache over here. That's character. He's got like a little S curve. Let me try the mono zero. Yeah. He's got a curve down like that. A curve down. That needs to be pushed in with a brush. Right eye could be maybe a little wider, and the gap between his eyelid and the eyebrow need to be narrower. Okay. Thank you. The eyebrow needs to be more arched. Okay. Yeah, the eraser is sometimes just as valuable as the pencil. Just a little circular stroke with the pencil, light pressure. All of this needs to be lighter. His brow. Dana, for me, it's always the hair. The hair is the biggest. So, what I have my students do in class is draw their classmates' hair, um, and we pretty much know who the classmate is just by looking at the drawing of the classmate's hair. So, hair is uh, plays such a big role in the likeness factor of somebody, and for me, likeness is the reason why I draw everything that I do. If I'm doing a 1 minute gesture pose of the model, I want it to kind of resemble the model. And if I'm doing a 20-minute drawing of the model, the main goal is always going to be likeness. Like likeness is something that I want to do in every single drawing. And everybody draws for their own reason, right? Some people draw because they just like to play around with new materials. Some people draw because they want to do caricatures of people. No matter what I do, like I said, it's always likeness is a good challenge for me, and it keeps me like on my toes. Some people like I've been teaching for so many years, and I've met so many diverse students, and there are so many people who just really don't even care about likeness at all, and that's fine. You know, again, you have to know why you're doing this. Just a little bit of texture. Just looking. Thank you, Arjun. Let's lift that eye. Little lid. Too dark over here. Now, when you use this eraser, like you gotta clean it. So it's getting all black stuff on it. Top of the bridge of the nose. Yeah, it is. It needs to be higher and it needs to be lighter. So you gotta look at the center line. That helped. Sometimes you can just go too dark in one area and everything gets screwy. So the ear needs the most work, but I'm not doing the ear because I don't want to block you guys from seeing what I'm doing. Let me try this. Just keep looking. Yeah, it is a challenge, no doubt. There's many different ways of getting somebody's likeness because you can get the essence of the person. Uh, but yeah, from when I was an illustrator, it was always 1,000% about likeness because we would hire a model, photograph the model. So if the book was about, 14-year-old teenager with, you know, red hair and freckles and blue-green eyes, and you hire that model, you have to get the likeness. And then there would be other times where uh, you would hire a model that had brown hair, and you had to make them have red hair, but the red-haired model wasn't available at the time. So you'd have to change values around, and that would change the whole look and feel of the person. So remember, another thing that's really important is values. So I'm not matching all the values, and uh, that's a contributing factor in a very big way to whether or not you get the likeness. Thank you, Aurora. Okay, a couple more strokes, and then we're going to put this sucker to bed. I'm having a really fun time with this. This is the longest I've sat in my chair in a while. I've developed this terrible habit of getting up too much. Yep. Okay, This is darker. I would need another, I'd need a while to get it to where I want it to be. It's just kind of, I'm going to draw it really fast right now and scribble. There's is a side plane to his beard. So I'll make it look like I sped up the video. Yeah, commissions have a lot to do with it. So if you're a portrait artist, you have to make a decision when creating your portfolio. Is the goal of you as a portrait artist to get the likeness of the person or the person's child or the person's grandmother? Because then there's no confusion when they hire you. They know what they're going to get. Okay, so we can just put a little bit more value up here. This will have a huge contributing factor to the lightness of the hair. So in order to have light, you must have dark. And then we're going to brush it in because it'll go by faster that way. Yeah, sometimes, you can work on the drawing for like 2, 3 hours and it doesn't come together until the very end. And that's just the way that it is sometimes. It's almost like a sports game where the other team scores their goal with like 90 seconds left in the game. And sometimes that happens with your artwork. Sometimes you get it with just a little bit of time left. Where is that brush? Seriously? Here we go. Okay, let's push. All right, guys, I think we're going to put this to bed. Does anybody have any final questions before I close this out? Thank you, Arjun. Still have a lot to do. On certain drawings, I barely ever use my eraser. Like if I show you the other drawing that I'm working on, I think we'll put this to bed right now. So this needs another good hour to really a quiet time of me getting my head much closer to it and looking at it. Because as I'm drawing, I'm like leaning back a lot. Um, yeah, you got it, Amit. Amit, you're sending me your artwork today, right? Thank you, Michael. So with this drawing, I got it admit I barely used my eraser. So it's just, I'm not filming myself drawing. I'm just kind of doing my thing in my studio. So I'm not erasing much at all. It's, you got it, John. It's deliberate erasing. So not erasing mistakes as much as it is to pull out some lights. Okay. But that type of drawing, you got it, Aurora, has a whole lot of, whatchamacallit, plan into it more. This is just more of like a quick sketch, so I'm using an eraser a lot. Um, Yeah, you got it, guys. I really do it. Listen, I want to thank you so much for joining this live cast. I'm gonna see if I can take this video and put it in the members area of DTO. Maybe I'll finish it a little bit more, and I'll post that up in the members area. All right, guys. Thanks so much. I really do appreciate you spending time with me, and yeah, it means a lot. And you guys have a great Saturday. Okay. All right, cool. Thank you.